Hello, Barry William Magnanity here, your host for the Comeback Game podcast. And we have a cracker today with Dave Thompson from Inspirational Book Publishing. Dave writes, publish and launch system has been used by hundreds of authors to write their book in a week and publish a high quality book in 6 weeks later, becoming international Amazon bestsellers. He shows entrepreneurs how to expand their reach, authority, influence, and impact using best-selling books. Since 2014, Dave has become the go-to teacher for coaches, experts, and entrepreneurs who want to unearth the power of their message to accelerate their personal and business brand. He works with clients that know the inspirational book is the key to the next level of income, impact, authority, and influence. On this interview, Dave and I speak about how his journey to becoming a teacher of best-selling authors came about. After studying law for 6 years, even though he knew 30 minutes into his first session in his first semester that law and legal wasn't going to be for him. Growing up in an environment, he had three choices: become a doctor, become a lawyer, or become an engineer. And so, influenced and impacted to become a lawyer, Dave started to realize something wasn't quite right. Although determined to get through the other side of a legal degree, became a lawyer, and 6 years later realized that it was time for him to take a bit of a turn, start to follow his heart's desire more, and eventually move into what now has become his life's legacy, helping hundreds of entrepreneurs, coaches around the world to become best-selling authors. We also touched on my interesting experience a week ago when I was detained in Bali immigration for 4 days due to a visa issue and was almost charged with fraud. And we also speak around the importance of trusting your heart and developing a connection with your intuition and how that can greatly impact growth of your business in 2020 and beyond. It's a phenomenal episode. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Let's jump over to there now.
Hey, Barry. Awesome to be here, my man.
Yeah, me too. Where are you calling in from today?
I am in Brisbane, Australia.
Brisbane, Australia. Fantastic. And I'm from Perth, Australia. I should be in Bali right now. I flew to Bali last Thursday, got detained for 4 days in immigration, and then got sent home on Sunday. Now I'm in mandatory quarantine, locked in a hotel room in the city. It's been a pretty epic last week.
Oh man, that's intense.
Yeah, crazy times right now. Mate, for those that are watching or listening to this today, wherever they are in the world, can you share a little bit about like who you are and what it is that you do?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we might get into this later. My background, I actually started out as a lawyer, and then I changed. I was like, I just can't do that career. And so a few dips and changes and turns. Where I'm at now is my business is in book publishing. So it's called Inspirational Book Writers, and we help great people with great ideas to get their message out to the world so that we can create a positive change. Because I really believe that it's when great people, when entrepreneurs, when people in business that have solutions, when they share that with the world, that's when we accelerate our evolution in a really positive way. So that's us in a nutshell.
Absolutely, mate. Bit of a transition, like lawyer, become publisher. Like, how does that happen?
Well, through a lot of pain.
As many good things, yeah.
Yeah, it was a case of, I guess, going to quite a traditional school and just being told, you know, you'd be a good lawyer. You can talk. You're good with words. You will like be a barrister. And there were no other options really presented to me at school, and so I just followed that path. Went into law, and you know what? I was 30 minutes into my very first law class of the very first year of the very first subject, and I was like, this is not for me. I knew it, but I stuck with it for 6 years and I finished it.
Shit.
Because what I was being told in my environment was like, well, if you don't know what you want to do, keep doing what you're doing until you do know what you want to do. There was no like encouragement of like, well, just go and sit in the emptiness for a bit until you work it out. And so, yeah, I am grateful for that experience because I think the law background really lends itself to a lot of authority and credibility when it comes to books. But the transition really started to happen when I started to listen to myself and act on that.
So there's a lot there I want to pull apart.
Go for it.
So was it schooling or was it parents that were kind of like guiding, let's just say guiding you into the legal side of things? Like, how does that happen?
It was both.
Yeah.
It was both. Parents and extended family, all medical doctors. So it was like the acceptable career paths were medical doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Mm.
And the interesting thing was there were no, like, if you'd asked me on the day I finished high school, could I name 10 other occupations, or even like could I name 5 trades? I couldn't have done that. I didn't know, because the path was, it was just like, well, this is the way you will go.
So it was deeply, so what I'm hearing you say is that the path was deeply ingrained in you from somewhat a young age, that there was kind of 3 career moves. There was doctor, there was lawyer, or there was engineer. And it's like, pick 3. Hey, you're good with words.
Yeah.
You should be a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of started from maybe the age of 9 or 10, when I started reading John Grisham novels. And he, you know, all his stories are about lawyers and that sort of thing. And in some ways it did align to my natural nature, because there is definitely a part of me that loves to stand up for truth and justice. But when I got into the legal system and got into legal training, what I realized is that the legal system does not always deliver justice. And if it does, it takes a long time, and it's not always accessible by everyone. Sometimes you need to have a lot of money to be able to kind of to access that justice and go through that process. So it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be.
It's so uncanny hearing you say this, because I had to pay my way out under the table to get out of Bali.
Yes.
Long story short, I purchased a Kitaz visa off a visa company that was referred to me. And this was, I moved to Bali earlier this year. Didn't want to have to do the visa runs every 30 to 60 days. Found out I could get a Kitaz, like a long-term permanency visa. Purchased this visa, flew back to Australia for school holidays to see my boys. My 2 kids are here, to run an event that we were supposed to run at the time before COVID hit pretty hard. And then went to fly back, went through the loopholes of getting the COVID test and medical certificates and getting everything I needed to get back there, not even thinking that there would ever be an issue with my Kitaz. That was the least of my issues, because I had the document I needed. Got to Indonesian airport, went to move through on last Thursday night, and they pulled me aside and said that it wasn't registered. And so I was sitting in immigration, and they're like, oh, it's not your fault, it'll be fine, like, it's your visa company's fault, give us their details. Went to ring the visa company, their phone was disconnected, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. Wow. Anyway, that eventuated to me being locked in a room with no furniture, air conditioner blaring, no food being provided, no water being provided, no bed, like nothing for 4 days.
Wow.
And I've got quite a few contacts over there that went through different channels. And on the 3rd day, contact new head of immigration Jakarta. And what was reported back is that I had a fraudulent Kitaz with a number from a deceased Chinese woman on this document.
Jeez.
And he's like, you're in deep shit. Like, not only now is the Kitaz like not real, it's fraudulent, and they're going to trial you for fraud. And here I am going like, shit, a week ago, like, I was living the most incredible life ever, and now I'm in a room, locked in a room in Bali, potentially facing like imprisonment for a fraudulent document that I purchased off what I thought was legitimate visa company. I was like, man, like, it was funny because I came to peace with like how easily people can make one decision or one thing in their life, and it just wipes everything. And so, you know, to come back to what you shared, in the end, what happened is I had another mate who had a lawyer, and we paid under the table to get released with no even record that I've even been in Bali in the last 4 days. And so, unfortunately, this is the corruptness that happens not just in Indonesia but in all around the world.
Yes.
And we're seeing so much of it come to light right now, especially through this COVID pandemic.
Yes, absolutely agree. Wow, man, I can't. That's just, it's astonishing, and at the same time, there's a part of me that's not surprised.
They're just seeing local, flying in, like flew in business class. They're not getting any tourists at the moment. They're all starved of money, and it's like, hey, there's an opportunity for us here. And what choice do I have? Stay locked up in the room or pay for my freedom, you know? And it was interesting because as you know, I reached out to you because I've been writing a book called The Path to Freedom.
Yes.
And on
Yes.
the plane on the way home, I had like the download of the preface to this book. It's like, you know, the first aspect of freedom on my journey was financial.
Yes.
You know, then it was time. And it
Yes.
feels like what I've just experienced this past 12 months is freedom within myself and self-expression and love and vulnerability. Because sitting in that room, I was like, you know what? Like, I've had everything taken away, but no one could take away the way I feel about myself right now.
Yes. Wow. I
You
love
know,
that.
dude, it was incredible. So,
Man.
and it feels like a dream, a somewhat traumatic dream, but being
Yes.
here in Perth, just going like, did that happen? Like,
Yeah.
so,
Man. Mm.
so lawyer, and what's really interesting about what you, sorry for divesting, it was just
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
so beautifully slid into what you said.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. It's,
Um, so interesting thing is that you know, to some degree you've been indoctrinated to some degree your whole life to follow one of three paths, and rightly or wrongly so. Like your parents and those around you were only trying to do what they thought best, their best way of loving you and supporting you and bringing you up in the world, and that's what our parents do. Um, Interesting thing enough though is that within half an hour of your first class ever, you knew, like you felt something. Like was it a knowing in your head, or was it more like a feeling that it's like, this is not for me?
it was a visual of sitting in the back of a lecture theater, looking out over the people, looking at the tutor, and then feeling these aren't my people. This is this
Wow.
is this is not who I want to spend my life with. Like you go down the lawyer path, what is that? You climb the ranks, you become a partner, or it becomes your life. Like I kept looking. I did work experience at various law firms, and I kept looking at the partners and going, I don't want to be you. When I'm 40, when I'm 50, when I'm 60, I don't want to be you. And because I was talking to these partners, and one of the partners I remember vividly, he was an elite rugby player in his youth, and he had opportunities to travel the world and go overseas and play professionally, and he gave it up to get into law early in his 20s. And I was just like, because I played rugby myself, I'm like, you can't play rugby when you're 60. You can be a lawyer when you're 60, but you got to take your opportunities in life when they present themselves. And this guy hadn't. And I was like, I think that is demonstrative of what a lot of the law culture is like. And so environment wise, I was like, I cannot spend my time, I cannot spend my life in that environment.
Mm. God, I love that. I love that. So there's a vision, and it was to the tribe. I love that. It was like, these are not my people. This is not where I fit in. It wasn't even necessarily within yourself. It was within the environment you're in. And yet, what I say love the most. I don't know another word for it, but you still chose to stick out for 6 years. Like that's a hell of a determination, dude. And stubbornness, which is probably a good trait of a lawyer as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's I managed to. I did. I do have a stubbornness. I do have a discipline and a determination, and I managed myself through that time and this is kind of how kind of informed a lot of the way we do our books. Is I managed to reduce my time in the law to, like, I was doing full time, but I was probably only studying about 5 or 10 hours a week. And the rest of the time I dedicated to the things I was interested in at the time, which was rugby, playing rugby, coaching rugby, and fishing and being out in the boat. That's what I was really into in my, late teenage years, early 20s. And so I got really good at getting a lot done in a very short period of time.
Mm.
So that's what I feel I got from that law experience. And then that skill has translated over into the way we do our books. Like, a big part of our message is come and write your book in a week.
Wow.
And a book is like a big thing, but we go, all right, well, let's focus. Let's intensively work on this.
Isn't it interesting how I certainly find this, and I'm sure many people listening and watching today will find it as well. Isn't it interesting how we can go through these experiences in life? Like yours is a 6-year experience in life, and from what you've shared, there's been at least one key takeaway from that, which is that you learned how to do an immense amount of work in a very short period of time.
Mm.
But how that learning that you picked up through that has then formed such a key distinction, opportunity, experience for then what was next on your journey and path through life. And had you not have gone through that 6 years, you probably wouldn't have received that gift. Certainly not in that way.
No, not at all. I am continually asking myself, or I'm continually noticing about life that the stage that I'm at now, that's just preparing me for what's to come. Everything prepares you for what's to come. And especially the traumatic or difficult things, there's so much gold in those if you can find it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So you finished 6 years of law, right? Through that time, you learned to do a lot very quickly. You continued with rugby and aspects of that. Where did the book thing come into this? Was it during that 6 years, or was it something that was found after you kind of let go of that chapter of life?
Yeah, it was after. So it was interesting when I left law. I found myself in a Tony Robbins seminar. And when I walked into that room, I was like, oh, these are my people. They were happy. They were healthy. You know, they were into interesting things. I remember meeting the first girl I met was 22 years old. She was Chinese, and she had a business on eBay selling magnets that had frogs on them. And she made 60 grand a year selling frog magnets on eBay. I was like, and she's 22 years old. I'm like, that is the coolest thing ever. Like, I love the innovation, the entrepreneur, the different thinking. And so that kind of got me asking, well, what are these people doing? Like, how are they making their money? What work are they doing? How are they impacting the world? And then that got me into coaching, and I studied at the Coaching Institute, and that's where we first connected.
Yeah.
And then I built up my coaching practice, working with private clients for a couple of years. And then I was looking around going, well, I'm not in law anymore where I just climb the ladder. How do you expand in business? How do you evolve? How do you go to the next level? And someone suggested to me that I write a book. And it just immediately was like, that's what I need to do. And so I did. I wrote it in a week, and I published it 6 weeks later. And that's what we offer now, but I just did it that way because I didn't want it to drag on. You know, they can be really big projects, books. I just wanted to get it out to the market. And I launched that book, and it surprised me. Like, I thought I was going to sell 10 copies. I thought Mum would buy 5 of them and my brothers might buy the others. We sold about 500, which was awesome. But what was more surprising, and what then birthed the book program, was people coming to me saying, Dave, I've been wanting to get my book out for 7 years, for 10 years, for 15 years. And you just did that in a week. Like, you got to teach me that. Teach me the strategy. Help me do that. And these were my friends asking me that. And I just thought, oh yeah, they're my friend. I'll just show them how. But then they got serious. And one in particular starts waving a Visa card at me. She's like, no, I don't think you get this. Like, I need this. I have a problem. You have the solution. I will pay you. Like, come to me with some sort of offer. Like, I need what you've got. And so I was like, all right, there's something here. And that's when the entrepreneur in me woke up, identified the problem, and then started to create the solution of how we could help people with that.
It reminds me of that old quote, like your journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Yeah.
And I see a lot with entrepreneurs, or, ambitious wannabe entrepreneurs, is that they want to see the whole path before they take action. They want to see the end game. And what I notice most about the entrepreneurs that I speak to, and many that I interview on the Comeback Game podcast, is that they're just willing to blindly step forwards.
Yes.
They're willing to just take one foot after the other, not necessarily know where it ends up, but have this insatiable curiosity.
Yes.
In those steps to notice what's there. I think that we can be blindsided when we are so determined to get somewhere that we miss the opportunities. We miss the people waving the credit cards in front of us, the Visa cards in front of us saying, take my money, because we're like, no, I'm trying to make a business over here and make money. And they're like, but I've got a car. You're like, no, I'm heading over here. I'm trying to make money.
Yes.
We miss those opportunities. Yet if you have that faith and that trust and that determination to keep stepping forwards, I honestly believe that anyone and everyone can get there.
I agree. I agree. I think it's about being receptive to what's in front of you. I really like, it's almost like having your ear to the floor, like listening to what's being said between the lines or what's coming your way, what's almost looking at the market and going, what's not out there in the market, but actually really needs to be out there in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been doing this book thing for a while now, yeah?
6 years, yeah, since 2014.
So it's kind of like the anniversary, like there's a 6-year cycle with the legal, there's a 6-year cycle with the books. What have been like I know that everyone I speak to hasn't gotten to where they are without some significant hurdles. And that's often what stops people getting to where they are as well, because they're just not willing to get back up when they get knocked down. Yet entrepreneurship, being in business, is a journey of just constantly getting back up. Even if you can't get to your feet, it's just like getting back to your knees.
Yeah.
What have been some of the adversities or challenges that you've had to face along the way?
Great question. Honestly, the biggest challenge for me was quite a difficult relationship that I was in through the middle of the business. It was like
intimate relationship.
Yeah, intimate relationship. That was really things started to get crazy. So Book Writer started 2014. Things in the relationship started to get crazy, like middle of 2015, and for a couple of years there, that personal side of my life brought me to my knees. It didn't. I wasn't dead. I didn't disappear off the face of the earth, but it brought me to my knees in a way that I wanted to show up for the business. I knew it was time to expand the business. Like 12 months in, we were ready to scale because we'd proven our system. We'd proven our thing works. It was ready to be of service to more people. The system was built. We were ready to go, but I wasn't, because of this relationship challenge. And so that was really tough. It was really tough. And what that required was a lot of soul searching, a lot of healing, a lot of sticking up for myself, a lot of drawing boundaries. And as far as the business went, it was a case of just really like doing whatever it took to keep my whole mantra through that really tough period was keep this business alive. Do whatever it takes to keep it going, because the relationship drama or situation wasn't going to last forever, but the business has got a long life.
Yeah.
And so there was this determination to keep going and see it through. And, that storm has been over for many years now. And now the business is experiencing the fruits of that because I'm able to show up for it. And yeah.
Yeah, my honest belief is that we never have business problems. We have personal problems that get expressed through our business. And,
yes,
all the strategies and tactics and techniques you need are out there on YouTube. But I honestly believe that there's this parallel universe that happens between one's personal growth and one's business growth. And, certainly with the hundreds of clients that we've coached, every time you get a breakthrough in the person, and that breakthrough shows up in the business. It's not the other way around. It's never the other way around. Like, you don't get the business breakthrough and then receive it personally. It's always stems from you personally and who you're becoming in that journey of growth within yourself that's reflected then in your business.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So what did you learn through that? Like, no great challenge or adversity comes without phenomenal learning. So what was the key learnings for you through that experience?
The key learning was that I was continually reminded to trust my instincts and trust my intuition. The same as at law school on that first day of that first class where my instinct said, this is not for you, but I stuck with it for 6 years. If I'd just acted on my instinct straight away, things would have been like, life would have been so much different and probably a lot more graceful and easy. So that reminder to act on my instinct, because there was a lot of red flags that I didn't act on. I just let slide and things just got worse and worse and worse until finally I was like, I'm actually on my knees here. I'm forced to act. So the kind of the other lesson being act before it's so painful that there's no other option to act.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Many of us don't do that. We wait for the pain, but that's where we get the breakthrough, the lessons from as well, because it's like, shit, I never want to experience that again.
Agreed.
Yeah. Talk to me more about that. Like I love the whole topic of intuition and heart connection and divine guidance, because it's been something I've been studying for, I think, nearly 18 years now. And I found it's very similar to training at the gym. You know, you can go and do a set of bicep curls, but it doesn't mean you walk out there with bicep peaks. Like it's an ongoing practice. And I think that, you know, us learning to trust our intuition, that divine guidance, is an ongoing practice as well. And we get tested, and the tests or the opportunities, I should say, get bigger and more beautiful as we go along. But there is a cleanup phase of when we kind of start to, I guess, get awakened to that level of consciousness and start to follow and experience it, that we get challenged to, like, do we follow the brain that seems logical and realistic in this situation? Or do we follow the heart intuition, which doesn't seem logical, doesn't seem like it will work out, but it just feels right. Like it's just a knowing there.
Yeah.
What's been your discovery through this process of kind of, like, I guess, awakening into that consciousness?
It's that I really see it quite simply. It's that the one thing I've learned is that I need to follow my first impulse, because the first impulse is correct for me. It's not correct for everyone. Other people have different processes. But like I said, law school, first year, first class, I knew, done, easy, decision made. This is not for me, I'm out. But I didn't. And so the awarenesses of, and what I notice is that when I do trust that first instinct, the messages come through to me clearer and clearer and more frequently. It's almost like the universe saying, this guy's listening.
Yes.
We're gonna keep giving him the good stuff.
Yeah, let's turn it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when the most flow happens. That's when the most ease happens. That's when the most magic happens. And I find that the more that I drop fear-based patterns out of my conditioning, out of my nervous system, out of my body, the more able I am to receive that instinct and that intuition. I really think instinct and intuition is a huge part of business success. Yeah.
Do you think it's always been that way? And the reason I ask that, like, I look back, like, I've been in business for 18 years now. And I look back when I started, and my experience of business and the business world back then is very different to now. And it has changed a lot. Like, I was talking to the directors of a company that I'm shareholder in yesterday, and I said, we can no longer build these lumpy business plans because the market is moving so quickly. Like, as long as you're clear of where you're going in terms of like that bigger picture vision, it's more around being responsive in the market quarter to quarter, rather than having a long-term business plan. Whereas it was very different 10 years ago. Like, you could have a business plan, the market changed a lot less rapidly, and things were to some degree more sustainable. Yet I think too that now there's more opportunity than there's ever been before. You know, there's more challenge, but equally too there's more opportunity. Do you think that business success has always stemmed from intuition, or do you think that is a shift that we are seeing as human consciousness?
I do think it's a shift, because I've noticed that speeding up so much. You know, even 4 years ago, we could plan our year in advance, plan 12 months, like, you know, 3 or 4 quarters in advance, and it would happen like that. And now it's like, well, we've got plans through to the end of this quarter, and then when we get there, we'll think about the next one.
Yeah.
I definitely think things are speeding up, and I think there is massive opportunity to be responsive to what's happening in
Yeah.
the market.
Provided that you are connected to and listening to your intuition.
Totally. And I think that can come through any number of ways. Like sometimes I put content out on social media just to see what people are vibing with,
Mm.
you know, so, and sometimes they don't vibe with it. Or sometimes I'm like, people are interested in that. Wow. How, you know, and I think every quarter has a buzzword or has a theme, or there's something going on in the market that's like, oh, everyone gets excited about that. So yeah, I think that responsiveness is very important right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And that's the thing too, I guess, with business and entrepreneurship is that, you know, the whole time that you're trying to follow somebody else, like you're in their rear vision mirror,
Yeah.
and you're not focusing on the expression of who you really are. Like the way that, you know, Alibaba and Amazon and, you know, Uber and, you know, Airbnb, these companies haven't been created through following sort of someone else. You know, they've come through forging a new path in a new way. And I see that many great businesses do that. Like, sure, you can start copying other people's shit, you know, and following sort of what they're doing. And there might be a big enough market share there for you. But there becomes a time if you want to really truly create a phenomenal business. And I think a fulfilling business, you need to
Yes.
start trusting who you are and what you're here to bring to the marketplace, because that creates differentiation in the marketplace that allows you to charge what you're worth. Like we work with a lot of tradies, and one common thing is that they get beaten on quotes. Yet our tradie clients don't get beaten on price on quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're getting leads doesn't mean you're getting leads and you're going to be busy. Like there might be the wrong type of leads. Whereas if you have that differentiation in the marketplace, you can charge what you want and you'll still always be busy because people want you. People
Yes.
want what you have to offer, not necessarily their toilet fixed or a pergola put up.
Yes. Yes. I call it the unique original.
Mm.
Like think about a piece of artwork. People will pay a premium for a unique individual.
Yeah.
You know, like I even think about my mobile phone cover. You can get a mobile phone cover for $2 on eBay. I paid 150 for this
Yeah.
phone cover, and it's a wood. It's handcrafted from Hawaii. It's got a beautiful whale carving on it, handcrafted.
Mm.
$100,
Mm.
like 50 times the price of a normal cover.
Yeah. Unique, original. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, money is an interesting topic. There's a whole nother conversation, but you know, money is energy in exchange of value, and it's someone's perception of what the value is. It's like look at what we spoke about before with me. It's like I paid a significant amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like what's your freedom worth?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what would you be willing to pay? Like I was like, what would I be willing to pay to have stayed in the country?
Mm-hmm.
Is a question they ask, and it's like everything has a price point based on the perceived value that
Yes,
we have. You know, like
absolutely.
what would you pay to get a child back if they were kidnapped?
Yes.
Right now, although that's a pretty shitty example,
Mm.
like if you position your business in such a way that is a unique representation of you that serves a need in the marketplace,
Mm.
price doesn't become a problem or a challenge or an obstacle to overcome. You know,
I
and
agree.
I think
Mm.
that comes from us expressing our unique individual, you know, expressing our heart's intuition.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I think every human, particularly a lot of the book writers that we work with, you know, sometimes they have fears about, oh, someone else has said the same thing, or someone else is doing, you know, in that operating in that niche or that space. But I just say to them every time, no one has your background, no one has your experience, and no one says the stories and shares their techniques the way that the individual does. Because one thing really stood out to me when when I first launched my coaching business before the book business. We had a very successful podcast that did really well
Mm,
on iTunes, and it was called Living Outrageously, and it was teaching
mm,
people how to live an outrageous life. And one episode was we were talking about values and the values in life. This lady gave us feedback afterwards. She said, "Thank you so much for that. I have studied personal development for 20 years. I've gone to Tony Robbins. I've gone to Deepak Chopra. I've gone to Wayne Dyer. I've gone to all the gurus of the business. but I never understood how to work out my own values until you guys shared your method and said those stories in the way that you said it.
Yeah.
And then it just hit me. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I've got to share before too, like I guess a shameless plug for you guys is that, you know, a book is a fantastic opportunity to express who you are and what you believe and what problems you solve to the greater marketplace. And, you know, I've wanted to write a book for a long time and maybe never felt I was in a position or a stage to do that. And this year I was like, oh, well, I've exited the business. I'm moving to Bali, learn to surf. It's time for me to write my book. And I've spent the last sort of 3 months putting that together. But that's an opportunity to have in someone's hands, them to be able to read your unique viewpoints, your way of being, your understanding, and they're going to choose to step in and want to do business with you, choose to take on board what you believe or not to. But either way, it's a chance for you to express more of who you are and to, I guess, cut through the noise of the marketplace. You know, although there's a lot of opportunities out there right now, there's also a lot of noise. There's a lot of business. There's a lot of people. It's never been easier than right now than to advertise on social media and advertise out there in the mass marketplace. So therefore, it's becoming more difficult to stand out. And the only way that you can stand out is by standing as yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. 100%.
So before we wrap things up, if you're having a conversation with, let's just say like a 10-year-old version of yourself, if you're having a conversation with him, what advice would you give him?
Oh, the first thing that came to mind was keep rocking out, keep having fun, keep enjoying your life, because it's a big world, and yeah, there's some crazy stuff out there. There's some crazy people. There's some tough situations, but it's good to be alive. That's what's just coming through to me right now. Is just this vote of positivity and optimism for what's to come. Because I know there's a lot of doom and gloom out there, and some people might be doing it tough. But I do truly believe there's a lot of great things happening in the world right now that we'll start to see the fruits of in the coming months and years.
Yeah, I guess it's like surfing, right? Like you just got to ride the waves.
You do, and you stick at it. You put one foot in front of the other. You keep going, and yeah, soon enough the swell comes, and it's fun to ride the waves.
Yeah. And for those that might want to connect with you and find out about the great work you're doing, what's the easiest way to find you?
Yep, awesome. Facebook is great. Inspirational Book Writers is our page, or even friend me up personally, Dave Thompson. Really welcome that. And our website is www.inspirationalbookwriters.com.
Fantastic. Dave, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. I really appreciate what you've shared and look forward to us chatting again.
Thanks so much, Barry. It's been awesome being here.
If you're in a position that many of our clients were before joining us, which is that your business is controlling you rather than you controlling your business, we would love to have a chat to you to see whether or not we might be the right fit to partner with you to help you grow and succeed in business. And over the past 8 years, we've helped hundreds of business owners around the world to grow, scale, and succeed in business. Many of our clients report that we've helped them to triple their profits and double their time off in 12 months or less. If you jump onto YouTube and notice the hundreds of testimonies, you'd see that this is a common theme amongst them. If you're a business owner that's generating more than $300,000 a year in annual revenue, whether it's $500 million, $5 million, even $10 million a year, and you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level, we might be able to help. If you're noticing that your business is lacking structure, maybe systems or processes, maybe you're not quite attracting enough or the right type of quality leads, making enough sales, or maybe you're even having issues finding, hiring, retaining, and training the right team members, we could be a fit for you. Ultimately, we believe that we never have business problems, we have personal problems that are expressed through our business, and a lot of the work we do is with you as a business owner, helping you to constantly upgrade the way that you see life, the way that you make decisions, and the way that you help construct a profitable and purpose-driven business. In order for us to do that though, you need to book in a quick 15-minute application call with one of our scaling specialists here at the Game Changers. Through that 15-minute call, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions to see if or how we might better help you. If we can't help you, we'll let you know politely and do our best to point in the direction of someone that can. However, if we can help you, we'll look at booking you a 1-hour game plan session where we're going to dive a lot deeper into where you and your business are at right now, where it is that you want to go in the next 3, 5, and 10 years' time, and what are the potential roadblocks or challenges or even opportunities that are along the journey in order for you to get there faster. If you're really feeling that it's time for you to experience the love and the joy of running a business again, if you're really wanting to experience a business that does actually operate without you while still producing profit, we may very well be the right fit. So book in a 15-minute call. We can have a chat and see where we go from there. My name is Brad Bodidi, and thanks for listening. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk soon.